dream just from living streets. See, this is what I do when I love it, so I won't give up for nothing, and I won't fall.
Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Kendra and this is Kencurlsroc, and this is my very first story time. Yay! So without further ado, let's just get started. If you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button because it's free. So let's get into this story. Okay, so this is kind of a sad story. I don't know. But yes, this is a story about how I found out that I was adopted. Like, yes, adopted. So let me give you a little background about me and my life. So yeah, my parents are both dark-skinned. My grandparents, my two grandmothers, are light-skinned. And ever since I was a little kid, I used to get teased because if I can find a picture, I'll insert one. But I had some long hair and I was like bright, like yellow. And so when people would see my parents, they would be like,
"No, I'm not your parents, Kendra. You're adopted."
and I would just be like, what? So like ever since I was a little kid, maybe, you know, from elementary school, maybe like second grade on, like I always thought I was adopted. Like I was always just like, I don't fit in, I look different from everybody in my family, like maybe this is true. So I would ask my parents all the time, like, Mom, am I adopted? Like, why don't I look like you guys? Like, but everyone says I look like my parents. So yeah, so all through my life, I felt some type of way, and little kids, other little kids made me feel some type of way, questioning me about my parents. Like, so what happened? So one day, I will never forget, I was 21. Yeah, I was 21. And you know how like you're laying in the bed and you like, I'm not crazy guys, but you like kind of hear a voice and you're like, So we have a guest room and I heard something say, go look on the bookshelf. So what do? I go look on this bookshelf. Okay, so here's another fun fact, I guess you would say. Like, everyone who knows me knows, like, Kendra loves taking pictures. If you come in my parents' house, like, there's pictures of me in every room, multiple pictures. So I started realizing, like, you know, my brother and my sister have baby pictures. I'm talking like baby pictures, like maybe a couple months old and stuff like that. And me being the photogenic little girl that I was and the photogenic woman I am now, like I started to notice like I don't have any baby pictures. Oh, and another thing, my parents got married after I was born. So when I got older, I like looked in their photo album and I'm like, yo, there is no pictures of me in this photo album. Like, there's my brother, my sister, but why am I not in this? So I asked my mom, like, why wasn't I in the photo, like in any of the photos? And so she's like,
"Oh baby, you were sick or fussy and you were at a sitter's house." Like,
what? Like, are you serious? But anyway, so I just believed it. So like I said, one day I'm sitting on my bed and something's like, go on the bookshelf and look at this red book. So I'm like, whatever. Couple days go by and it's still like in the back of my mind, like, go look on the bookshelf. So we have a guest bedroom and it had a bookshelf on it. So I go in there and I'm looking and I pull out this red little notebook. And so I open it up and, you know, it's a calendar and stuff. And I open it up and it says, Kendra Taylor had her first day home. And I'm just like, my name's Kendra, but this isn't my last name. And I'm like, okay, maybe my parents used to do foster care and stuff. So some people would come live with us when I was smaller and stuff. So I'm like, okay, maybe before I was born or something. No, it wasn't before I was born because it said 91. So I was like, maybe when I was little, they had somebody and it's a coincidence that they had the same name as me. But then I'm like, why would you adopt somebody with the same name as your daughter? Like, that's kind of weird. So anyways, I keep reading the book and it's getting like more into depth. Like, she's getting used to her new father and all this other stuff. And so like, when I tell you my heart sunk, because I'm just like, oh my God, like, what if this is me? Like, the person in the book didn't have a middle name, and like I have a middle name. They had a different last name, but my first name. And so I'm just like, could this be me? No, this couldn't be me. Like, so I'm like freaking out. So I called my boyfriend at the time, and I'm like, babe, like, I'm reading this book, and like, they're like, you know, this girl is getting adapted to her new home and all this stuff. He's like,
Kendra, just like ask.
I was like, I always ask my parents, like, am I adopted? And they always tell me no. So I just like was just thinking of how am I gonna ask my parents? Like, how do you really truly go to someone who's loved you for so long and ask them on a serious note, not joking this time, like, am I adopted? So my mom wasn't home yet, mind you. I'm 21, I'm in college or whatever, and so I'm just like thinking of ways, like, how do I ask my mom? So finally my mom gets home. I get off the phone with my boyfriend and I go downstairs and I'm like, Mom, I like have a serious question. And she was like, okay, what's up? And I was like, was I adopted? And like, when I tell you, she has this smirk on her face and my heart dropped, because I'm just like,
I think she's about to say yes.
so she's like, why do you ask? And so I showed her the book and she said,
Yes, you were adopted.
bruh, what? I've been asking you guys for 20 some years. Well, not 20 some years. Well, maybe 15 years. Was I adopted? And now all of a sudden you told me. Now that I look back on it, I was so hurt and angry. All I could do was run upstairs in my room and cry. Like, I cried. My mom's banging on my door like,
I'm sorry. I wanted to tell you, but like, I love you like I birthed you.
and all that stuff, but I was just so hurt. Like, and I wasn't hurt because I had a bad life. I was hurt because all those feelings of feeling like different or like not fitting in or feeling like I didn't belong, like all of those popped up in the back of my head, and like it really truly hurt. So I probably didn't talk to my parents for a couple of days, and then finally me and my mom, we sat down and we talked, and I was just like, you know, why didn't you tell me? And she was just like, you know, I mean, those times that you asked, I wanted to tell you, but I didn't think you were ready, or you know, you were so young, I didn't really think it would be brought up or anything. And she just explained to me that like she loves me like she birthed me. And she told me like a little bit about my mom and why I was put up for adoption and stuff. So it kind of eased my mind, and I kind of felt bad because I'm just like, you know, this my mom and my dad have raised me since I was 2, and they have made my life so much easier. Like, I lived in New Jersey, like just thinking about all the stuff that I would have probably had to go through if they didn't adopt me, like it's crazy now. So yes, I found out when I was 21 that I was adopted. I'm 27 now, and I mean, I think about it a lot now, but I don't know, it's kind of hard. The hardest part about the situation is now that I'm older, like I really want to know about my mother. Like I really want to know, well, not my mother, about my birth mom. Because when you go to the doctor and they're like, do you have family history? You're just like, you know, I don't know because I'm adopted. So my mom told me like my birth mom's real name, which is, I ask her all the time, I'm like, are you lying to me? I knew my last name was Taylor when I was born. They didn't change my first name. It's always been Kendra. And they just added a middle name to it. And so my mom's name was Elizabeth Taylor. And I was born in New Jersey. And it's just crazy because, like, I want to see my birth mother, just because, you know, I just want to see what she looks like. Like, oh wow, like, I really look like you. Or she can just tell me about, like, oh, you know, I don't know. But then it's just like, I don't want to hurt my parents because they've done so much for me and stuff. But anyone else out there that has been adopted and didn't find out until they were earlier, like, tell me how, like, your experience was. Like, were you mad, frustrated, angry? Like, a lot of times I feel lost because when you sit down with your mom, you're just like, oh, how was I when I was a kid? And the biggest thing is that when I get pregnant, like, I feel like that's a big connection between your child. Like, when they grow up, telling them, like, oh, you had me in labor for this amount of hours and I was craving this and stuff. Like, that's really why I do want to adopt kids too, but I really want to, like, birth one of my own so that I can have that experience and that bond with them and be able to tell them that. So yeah, that is how I found out I was adopted. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to subscribe. Leave your comments down below if you have any questions, and I'll see you guys in my next video.
And once I get there, I'm taking over the game. And haters try, but I won't let them get to me. I work too hard to let my dreams slip from me.